We are diving deep into the world of industrial design and specifically complex electrical schematics. We're talking power circuits, control circuits, these huge wiring diagrams. And if you're the one generating or even just trying to read these documents, you know they're not just pictures. They are just so densely packed with critical data.
That really is the crux of it. When you're dealing with technical drawings like these, efficiency isn't just a nice to have.
No, it's
It's essential for your project deadlines. So today we're talking about AutoCAD Electrical, or AK, and our mission is, I think, pretty clear.
Right.
We want to shortcut that learning curve. We're going to go past the surface stuff to find the absolute fastest way to navigate and configure this workspace for, maximum output.
And we've got some incredibly structured, practical sources for this. They're basically focused lessons on the interface, the core tools, and I think most importantly, the customization that can turn a new user into a real power user.
Yes, it's about strategic knowledge. It's about understanding the internal logic of AK. Because once you know where the power tools are hidden, you stop just clicking around randomly, and you can start engineering immediately.
So let's start with the end goal then, the drawings themselves. We know they've got power and control circuits, but what really elevates an AK drawing above, say, a standard CAD drawing?
It's the intelligence.
Yeah.
It's the intelligence that's embedded in every single symbol.
Okay.
So while you can still use basic geometric commands, line, circle, to draw a symbol by hand.
The old-fashioned way.
The old-fashioned way, right?
Yeah.
But AutoCAD offers this specialized symbol builder. And the difference is that the builder automatically integrates crucial metadata. It turns a simple graphic into a smart component that actually understands its own function.
That integration has to be the key, because the power here isn't just graphical, it's totally data-driven. The sources we looked at, they all highlight the report feature as being absolutely essential.
Oh, for sure.
It's not just a summary, is it?
No, not at all. It's the strategic bridge between what you see on the screen, the schematic, and the entire logistics chain. The report feature gives you this complete, organized breakdown of everything. Everything in that drawing. Not just component names, but the critical details like I/O addresses, terminal info, detailed component descriptions.
Wow.
Mastering this one feature first saves, hours of cross-referencing against a bill of materials later. That's where the real-world time savings happen.
Okay, let's look at the environment where this all happens then, the interface. We need to decode the geography of it, starting with the controls that manage the whole project, not just one drawing.
Right, so if you look at the top left area, you've got your standard elements. The title bar, shows the software and project name, then the application button for file actions like new or open.
Standard stuff.
But for efficiency, your eyes should go straight to the quick access toolbar, the QAT.
That QAT is where the AK specialization really begins, isn't it? Because beyond the standard save and undo, there's some unique navigation happening there.
Correct. AKDA adds these specific specialized arrows to move instantly to the next drawing and previous drawing.
Oh, that's useful.
Within the same project folder. In a huge project with dozens of sheets, that means you skip digging through the file path every single time.
That saves 3 or 4 clicks per drawing. I love that. And for anyone listening, that QAT is one of the easiest ways to customize your workspace right now.
Absolutely.
You should just load it up with whatever you use most. Layer controls, printing tools, whatever. It just cuts down your reliance on the main ribbon so much.
And speaking of specialized tools, if you look at the menu bar, you'll see the familiar menus like File and Utilities, but then you hit the AKD specific ones, projects, components, wires, and panels. That's the specialized heart of the software. That's where you find the tools that understand electrical logic, like wire numbering and component tagging.
Okay, so we know the controls that manage the files. Now, before we even draw a single line, we have to set the stage. The sources are absolutely relentless about this. Define your units and limits first. Why is setting the units so critical right at the very beginning?
Because the electrical components, they scale based on those units. If you set your units to inches and then you try to drop in a metric component, your entire scale is just thrown off.
It's a mess.
A total mess.
Yeah.
You have to define if you're using architectural, engineering, or fractional units, and crucially, set the precision. Precision matters when you're connecting to, say, panel layouts or mechanical drawings.
And here's the first major speed boost for anyone starting out.
Yeah.
Instead of digging through menus, just type UN, that's UN, directly into the command line.
Yes.
It instantly pulls up the unit settings dialog box, speed, and simplicity.
And when we're in that utility mindset, let's talk about data integrity. We often overlook purge and recover drawing.
Okay, so why should a user be using purge all the time? I mean, if you think your file is clean, why bother?
That's a great question. Because purge removes unused or residual items, things like old block definitions, layer filters, line types you're not using anymore.
So it's just digital clutter.
Exactly. It cleans up drawing data errors that might not even be visible, but can bloat the file, or worse, cause instability. It's like preventative maintenance for your file's health.
I see. And recover drawing is your emergency button.
That's your safety net if the system crashes. You need to know where it is before you need it.
And then we define the canvas itself with drawing limits. This sets the boundary. Lower left is almost always 0, 0, but defining that upper right corner tells AutoCAD the size of your sheet.
And that ties directly into your plot scale later on. So once the stage is set, we need to be able to view it efficiently. In any CAD program, you spend, 90% of your time zooming and panning?
At least. We assume you know the standard tools, but the sources had a couple of critical efficiency tricks here.
Okay, the first one is the clear screen command, Control+0.
Ah, yes.
You hit that, and it temporarily just vanishes the entire ribbon, the menu bars, all the interface clutter.
It gives you the maximum drawing space. That's the trick I wish I'd known 5 years ago. It's amazing how much screen real estate we waste on the ribbon when we're just doing fine detail work.
It's pure productivity. The second trick is just knowing you can toggle the visibility of every other element, the UCS icon, the view cube. Turn off what you don't need.
Now we get to the organizational core of any detailed schematic. Layer management. In standard CAD, setting up layers is just manual labor. How does AutoCAD streamline this?
This is a huge advantage. AutoCAD comes with layers that are already defined and intelligent. They're specific to electrical engineering.
Like what?
Things like A wires, A components, A title. This automatic organization is what allows the software to distinguish between different types of objects and track their data properly.
So the software is auto-layering for us. But even with that, why are the core layer control commands, isolate, freeze, lock, still so vital?
For debugging and for clarity, if you're trying to track one control circuit that's weaving through hundreds of other wires, you use layer isolate.
And it just hides everything else.
Instantly. It hides everything except the component or wire layer you're tracing. Freezing layers you don't need speeds up the system, and locking them prevents you from accidentally modifying something. It focuses your attention.
And speaking of visual detail, let's touch on line weight. That's another common operational trap.
Oh, yeah. You can define the line weight in properties. Maybe you set your wires to 0.30 millimeter, but the critical detail is that AutoCAD defaults to hiding the visual representation of that thickness.
Right.
So if you plot your drawing and all your lines look thin and uniform, you've probably forgotten to toggle the show or hide line weight setting. It's a common rookie error that really trips up quality control.
That's a perfect example of a tiny setting that can completely derail a printing job. Okay, Let's quickly touch on the geometry. We are still in AutoCAD, so we rely on those fundamentals like line, polyline, arc, circle.
Exactly. We rely on the basics and the standard modification commands like move, trim, copy, mirror.
But there's an extra layer of intelligence there.
There is. The strategic point is that when you use a command like trim on a AutoCAD SmartWire, the software automatically cleans up the underlying wire data and maintains continuity. It's using a base command, but applying electrical intelligence.
The sources also mentioned a specific utility command, divide.
Simple, but essential for layout consistency. You select a line, you enter the number of segments you need to save, 5 eyes, and it places markers. Invaluable for ensuring perfectly uniform spacing when you're laying out components along a rail.
And dimensioning. We can't forget that these drawings often need very precise dimensions.
They do, and the sources stress the importance of diagonal dimensions, particularly for measuring the space needed for components in like a complex panel layout.
And you have full control over the style.
Complete customization control over dimension styles, arrow sizes, text height, units, and a good tip for precision drafting. You can change how your placement points look by typing PO for point style.
All right, we've covered the ABCs. We've got the structure, the foundational tools. Now let's unlock the cheat codes. This is the real efficiency deep dive. Customizing the workspace for true long-term games. And the engine controlling all of this speed is in the options menu. You get there by typing OP.
The OP dialog box is the central hub for personalization and, I would argue, for collaboration safety.
Okay, how so?
Let's look at file handling. An AKG drawing made in, say, 2021 can be configured to automatically save in an older format, like AutoCAD 2018. Now, why is that specific setting so critical?
Because if you're collaborating and your colleague is running an older version, you have to ensure compatibility every single time you save.
Precisely. Setting that compatibility preference once in OP eliminates that manual step forever. And while you're there, the life-saving autosave setting lives there too.
Right, the default is 10 minutes, I think.
It is. But if you're working on a huge project or maybe an unstable system, you might bump that down to 5. It's a small change, but it's insurance against lost work.
So beyond file handling, the OP menu controls visual precision. You can adjust the crosshair size, the aperture size, auto-snap marker size, pick box size. Why should a user spend time customizing something as seemingly minor as the pick box size?
Because in really high-density schematics, where components and wires are extremely close together, your default selection tools might just be too big.
And you end up clicking the wrong thing.
Constantly, you cause selection errors. By shrinking the pick box or the aperture, you ensure micro-precision when you're selecting, a specific terminal point or wire segment. These are the small adjustments that add up to huge time savings.
This all leads to the highest level of customization, which is saving and switching your entire workspace. So you can control the layout, hide the menu bar, adjust the ribbon, whatever, and then you can save that entire configuration.
This is absolutely critical for professionals who switch between tasks. For example, you might spend the morning creating 2D schematics where you need the project and wires menus front and center. But in the afternoon, maybe you switch to generating a 3D panel layout. You need completely different toolbars, a different display.
And by defining and saving distinct workspaces, you could call one schematic layout and another panel build. You can switch between them instantly.
One click.
That transition time is just gone.
It's the difference between working for the software and having the software work for you. And finally, there's one feature that acts as a great immediate diagnostic tool. Quick properties.
How does that streamline the review process?
It gives you the essential info immediately. Instead of opening the full properties dialog box and scrolling through, hundreds of parameters.
Which takes forever.
It does. Quick Properties lets you select an object and instantly view its crucial parameters, its tag, its rating, description, right there next to your cursor. It's an immediate check on your data accuracy.
This entire deep dive has really reinforced one key idea for me. Confidence in AutoCAD Electrical comes from mastering the organizational tools, the units, limits, layers, and then just aggressively personalizing your environment.
Using shortcuts like OP and saving your custom workspaces.
Exactly.
It also highlights that while AK is incredibly powerful, the foundation is still those familiar basic geometric commands line, circle, trim from the base software.
Right.
The true power is the seamless integration of that context-specific data, like component reports and specialized features like the symbol builder, which handles all the engineering logic for you.
Which brings up a really important question for you, the person listening and learning this. If focusing on the interface is the foundation of efficiency, what is the most powerful customization or command you could apply to speed up the tedious non-electrical parts of your drawing process?
So things like dimensioning, text placement, or just the general geometric tasks. What could you do to speed that up in the future?
Something to mull over as you optimize your own AK workspace. That's it for this deep dive.